Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
let's do it
what?
live.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the second edition of the Wayback Throwback, where we jump back and we jump into the Wayback Machine and go back to a time that was simpler and actually cooler than today's woke culture. I am Fat Ninja, the host, and of course, I got some of my co-hosts with me. I got the Riv, the sarcasm specialist, but now today's known as the Mountain Slayer. What's what's going on, Riv? How you doing,
Well,
man?
that's why I wasn't here Monday because I was building furniture, so I was building a casket for him. So there's that. Then I realized I had to build two caskets because I'm gonna be burying Granny right next to him. But then I saw how tiny Granny was, so that was all for nothing. I could bury him in like a matchbox or something. My finger's bigger than that entire dude.
Just throw him in a hefty bag. I think
Oh
that'd be
shit!
appropriate.
That'd
Damn.
be disrespectful to Hefty though, Poop.
That's true. True.
And then we got the gaming grognard. We got Obi One Jabroni. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
You're doing okay. Not been out the shower long, so I'm all. I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, so I'm not even gonna
He's
say nothing.
he's all glistening. He's
Yeah, yeah,
he-
That's why his camera's never on. He's naked during this show.
Oh shit. All right, and finally, last but not least, we got Pook Ninja, the independent contractor. He's the all-around hitman. What's up, brother? How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I just went shopping and I robbed a Banana Republic. I went and shoplifted the Banana
Dude,
Republic store.
you look like you're gonna sing Mambo number 6. You're gonna drop Mambo number 6 on us.
Mambo, mambo, mambo. Yeah, I just shoplifted my whole outfit at a Banana Republic and just been chilling.
Oh my goodness.
Holy shit.
Oh my goodness.
it's already a train wreck.
Already derailed. I love it. Let's go to the chat here. I'm way behind. We got Dan Burrows. What's up, brother? Thank you for coming out and supporting us. One of the members of my boy Blaze's stream. Please check out the description below in the video show notes. Go over to him, check his boys out. You will not be disappointed. And of course, we got the man himself, Blaze himself. He's like, "Hey, cheers, let's go gaming." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna be talking about some games. We're also gonna be talking about some wrestling. So hopefully, it will be entertaining, if not informative, or just you need something to go to sleep to. However, however you see fit. Yeah, yes, you are early to the party, and that's fine. Totally appreciate y'all hanging out, getting ready for the goofy chaos that is ready to ensue. All right, and Ariel, she is going to do part two of her donation stream. So please, if you have any ducats in your pockets, any loose change underneath the carpets, or maybe you can trade in some Legos that you don't want to step on no more because your kids keep leaving them on the floor. Please do so and toss some ducats her way, Ariel. If you have time, go ahead and throw your link in the chat for people to check out. All right, and we got the lovely Denise, super cool woman. She was with us in the chat on Ariel's donation stream last night. Very kind, nice woman. Always has kind, uplifting words for people, and then that's what we need these days, especially because woke culture wants to snuff out the life force that us old grognards still left in us. Oh man, and we got Mountain Timer in the chat, and we got Ariel says you look Amish bacon with that kitchen that hitching up and that hat. Are you hitching up the buggy?
Yeah, I'm living the Amish paradise over here. Candle, candlelight and horse shit. It's great.
Oh man, I'm surprised Mountain Timer even wants to make an appearance after what happened to him last time.
What's up, Mountain
I
Timer?
I say get a job or have the gardener sell some magic beans, bro. You're gonna have to sell some magic
Uh,
beans to get your ass of the ass rimming that you're gonna receive.
Oh my god.
He said, "Shout out to Panama Jack Pook Ninja." Oh my goodness. All right,
Yeah,
so
Panama Jack in the house, baby.
Jack in the house.
Jack in the box.
Jack in the box. Okay, as we
No
always
mama's
start.
box. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh damn.
I keyed.
Key. Okay, so of course we start off always what we've been playing. Riv, I'll go ahead and kick it over to you first, sir. What you been playing so far this week?
Mostly it's been me playing Final Fantasy 14 a little more. I really haven't had time to jump into anything else because I've been kind of sick. So it's
Mm.
like when you get that level of sick where you're just in bed and you can't game, it's like the worst. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I played a little bit of 14 just to sort of, wind down a little bit. But, I'm hoping to get back on some of these other games that I started. And, I've been getting an itch to play Oblivion again for some reason lately.
Well, Biden looks like a drogger, as you said.
Oh, yeah.
That one meme you put up in the Gilded server, so that might be what might be facilitating that itch.
Yeah, I'm going to have to slay some droggers. That's what it is. The reason I'm sick.
We got Gonzo in the building. What's up, Gonzo? He says, "Wait, are there any fights fixing to break out? Ain't gonna be no fights on this show. I don't. We don't run that kind of party over here."
We
But
all cool, Gonzo. We all cool, brother.
yeah, we're a dysfunctional family over here, but we actually respect and love each other over here. So Obi, I'll go ahead and kick it to you. What have you been playing this week, sir?
Not much. Just been playing Streets of Rage Remake on PC. Also on PC, TMNT Retro Palooza. Great games, and they're free, so you've got nothing to complain about. Because even if you got a terrible PC, you can run these games no matter what. So that's all I've been playing.
Nice. Okay, Pook, we'll go ahead and throw it over to you, sir. What you been playing so far this week?
The only thing I've been playing is that AI, the Salmonella file, the Salmonella file. Raw Chicken Adventures, the Salmonella files. No, it's the Salmonella files, I believe.
Yeah. I just call it
It's
salmonella files. I
Salmonella
think
files.
Riv's got a touch of that.
Salmonella files going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd only been playing that, but I did receive the Neo Geo Pocket Color Collection for the Switch today as one of my early birthday gifts. So I'll probably be checking that out tonight too. So
Yeah. The negative comments I won't even read out
put
loud.
Put them up. Let's see them.
Okay, Pook, I'll let you handle them or Riv.
I'm not begging for money. Also, if Pina was a man, he would be supporting you instead. You know what? Don't put them. I was wrong.
I told you.
Error in my judgment. Don't put them on.
See, I told you, man. This is retarded shit. But anyway, it's all good. So what I've been playing? Absolutely nothing. What you see on the screen, I've been working on that. I got the paid version of EV Mux now, and since I got that watermark off the way, I was actually able to move stuff around and stuff like that. So to make it look, as Riv would say, aesthetically pleasing. Hopefully, hopefully I did that. And no, I've been constantly just messing around with it, see what EV Mux can do, how much it can handle, and until I break it. but so far it's pretty good. I mean, just that little that faux pas that happened on Monday when the YouTube feed got cut for whatever reason. But other than that, I've really been enjoying using the software, so I'm definitely happy with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our first topic, wrestling, how it has evolved. Because we all know back in the day that every wrestler had their 5 moves of doom. So, Pook, I'll start with you. Now, we're some old motherfuckers, so we saw all the old shit. And to me, I think them having such a limited move set, and this might be a controversial statement, I think the 5 moves of doom was actually good because those people could actually hone those few moves they had to make them look more impressive or more punishing, and they could also tell a better story. Like let's say Harley Race, when he power drove somebody, you knew he's like he had that hatred for somebody. He was ready to finish their
Right.
ass off, put him in the dirt. So when he pulled out his power driver, oh shit, that's the end. He ain't fucking around no more. So I'll kick it to you, Pook. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, man. I think sometimes less is better, and I think less moves in wrestling is better. I would rather see, like a deadly pile driver, a good story, something that's been built up with good interviews and good story. And then when they have that match, that, what they build up for with the interviews and the story and the weeks ahead and all that, I think I'd rather see the less moves, like you get the big pile driver or power bomb or whatever the finisher is and stuff. But I mean, when I first started watching wrestling, there was a lot of moves, but it was a lot of mat wrestling, like chicken wings and ankle locks and stuff like that. They used a lot of that in pro wrestling. And
Yeah.
then when you got into the late 80s, then it was more of like what you're talking about, like the Hogan Warrior and stuff like that. And then you had guys like Macho Man Randy Savage, where he did pull a lot of moves. But you got to give like Hulk Hogan, of course, he boot, leg drop, body slam. He had his little thing that he used. But if you ever watch any of his footage from Japan, you see that he did know how to wrestle. He was trained by Hiro Matsuda, who was a known shooter. So I mean, Hogan could go if he had to. He didn't have to. The gimmick was over. So,
Right.
I mean, that's the point. But like, if you ever watch a Hogan match, like when Hogan and Orndorff had their big feud, so Hogan would purposely pile drive Orndorff just to like put it in his face, like, I'm using your finisher. They would pull off more than just the 5 moves when it was necessary. And that's
Right.
that's what's wrong today. You watch a match, they did 30 moves and nobody gives a shit. That's what's wrong.
Right.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares how many flippity flops and oriental suplexes or whatever else you're doing if it don't mean nothing.
Right.
It's not a legit sport. But
when we were growing up, a DDT was a legit finisher. Now it's just a standard move in everybody's freaking repertoire.
Yep.
Yes, it's true. I mean, if it don't mean nothing, there's no sense in doing it. I mean, you got it all comes to the interviews, storyline, and all that. 5 moves is fine if that's all you need. If you're over, 5 moves is great.
Right.
If you want to watch scientific wrestling, go watch amateur wrestling. I mean, that's not what pro wrestling is. It's great when you see a guy that knows double underhook suplexes and cross-face chicken wings and or even stuff like that and scientific wrestling. So it's nice to see that mixed in with the pro, but it's not necessary if you're over.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Obi, go ahead and continue with that. What do you think? Was the 5 Moves of Doom something cool for you? I mean, I know that you watched some old stuff, but like, how has it evolved for you? Especially, somebody from across the pond. How does it look for you?
Yeah, for me, I started watching in the late 80s. So back then you had characters with jobs, right? And then going into the 90s, and then for me, it's always been about the era, right? So as I described, it was the jobs, and then it became the attitude era, and then the ruthless aggression and all that. So I think with the eras going down, it's evolved so much. I mean, the era we've got now, right? The PG era is probably it's probably the worst that I've seen. But I mean, it even changed like when they became. Well, I'm talking about WWE/F here. But like when they went public, right? It changed. It just the whole product just changed. But the 5 Moves of Doom, no, I think that's. I mean, look at Stone Cold, for example. He didn't. I mean, he's not. He wasn't. He's not a technical wrestler. I mean, he didn't have many moves. He was way over. Stone Cold was
like
holy shit.
Or even like the Road Warriors. You telling me the Road Warriors weren't badass back in the day? They didn't have that many moves.
Yeah, exactly. I think
over, you don't need to. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah. There's many wrestlers. I mean, Stone Cold was just one, right? But I mean, there's many wrestlers that don't have many moves that were still over. But for me, no, it's always been about the era, though. So
yeah, I could definitely see that. Go to chat real quick. Jake the Snake should walk up to everyone in the locker room and smack the funk out of him. And that's another thing that was cool. Like the backstage brawls actually meant something. Like now these days they just
Right.
do it just to do
I,
it.
d-
It's
I
like,
don't.
oh,
I couldn't even tell you. Well, actually, it happened recently, but I mean, before Monday, because what I do with the shows, weekly shows now, I just keep them on in the background. But I mean, I can't remember a proper backstage brawl like in this era that we're in now. I just cannot even tell you.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Like you said, it was just the era. So, River, go over to you. What's your take on this, sir?
Well, one of the things that I think we got to discuss when it comes to wrestling then and wrestling now is we didn't have the internet back then. So we didn't have, the mystique of the wrestlers was protected. It's not protected now because you have all this immediate access to everybody. So, like if you were a kid, you legitimately believed Kamala couldn't freaking speak English. That he was just, that was his thing,
That is true. That is true.
I mean, but it's sad, but the internet destroyed kayfabe in such a way. But back then, if somebody jumped ship from WWF to WCW or vice versa, you didn't know what was really going on, why it was going on. It caused them more of a suspense. Now, unfortunately, every time somebody leaves, whether it's leaving WWE for AEW or vice versa, you hear about it like 4 months before it happens. And there's no mystery element, there's no surprise, and it's just it doesn't have. When we were growing up, wrestling had more of a mysticism it doesn't have now, and that's because of the fact that everybody tried to be this certain, fit this certain mold. I mean, we even had that period where they thought things like the Undertaker being the Undertaker was too gimmicky and made him just an extension of who he is in real life when he became the biker.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of over the top, larger than life gimmicks growing up, and that made for a lot of fun. I mean, just the other day, I remember when there were two different Joe Buttons on the screen. It reminded me of the two Doinks. I mean, but that was such a classic storyline growing up. With the multiple Doinks were like running around and then getting one over on Crush and beating him with like a fake arm, or like. I mean, when I was young, I thought Nails literally was some guy, big boss man, locked up and was pissed off and broke out of jail to kill his ass. I mean, we had a lot of good, ridiculous, over the top angles back then, but they were great, and it's because of the fact that we didn't have the internet ruining everything for us. The internet.
We had to call the wrestling line to get news. Remember that shit?
Yes.
Then you get your ass kicked.
By your parents. Yeah.
Yes.
1-900-909-9900. The WCW hotline.
Man.
Yeah.
Mean Jeans was the innovator of OnlyFans. Think about it.
Oh shit. Oh hell no. Yeah, I definitely have to agree with what Obi was saying. It's, to me, it's the era, because the era to me is kind of like synonymous with the good wrestling. And I mean, I'm not saying there wasn't no good wrestling like later on, but like in the elden days, like Pook was saying, like say gentleman Chris Adams, he had that super kick. Now, like Riv was saying, that's a common move now. Like you see 50 super kicks in one match. But when gentleman Chris Adams did it, normally that was lights out. It was dangerous. Like when you saw him ready to hit that move, it's like, oh shit, it's about to go down. Somebody's gonna get their head knocked clean off their fucking shoulders. But now it's just, it's like what Riv said. It's like a DDT now, and that hurts me personally, because I love Jake the Snake's DDT. That's what made me fall in love with the DDT. And so yeah, that hurts. It's just like a common move. It's kind of like an arm bar these days, and that that definitely hurts. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
In Mexican wrestling, like AAA and stuff, the tombstone is still considered like a deadly move. Like if someone gets tombstones, a lot of times they're carried out or they're gone. They're not even there, going to be wrestling for months. It's still realistic. What's up, Jason?
What What's up, Mr. Saunders? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. And Gonzo, let me see. Gonzo says DDT sounds way better than
Then what? What is
uh,
that?
leave him to a drug addict.
No, my.
Oh,
You know, I'll always say this, and
I kid.
I'll always say, and I don't know if it's going to be true because obviously we can't tell the future, but right now in this present time, I'll always say that I think the Attitude Era is where it was at. I think that was the best era that we're ever going to get right for now, because it was drama. It always made you tune in. It had the best storylines. It was just the best everything, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get that again. Touch wood, maybe. Don't know. Triple H is in charge, so. But the thing is, sponsors, right? Whether they want to take it private.
Well, yeah, like whenever you get sponsors involved, you're going to have to critique certain
I will
aspects
always
of your
cherish
product.
that era. I will always cherish that era because it was the best. It was the best wrestlers, and it was the best belts too. The best looking belts, in my opinion.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
it was just a good time. Everyone was talking about wrestling, though. That's the thing with that era was everybody was talking about, no matter who they were, even if they weren't into it. Oh yeah, did you see what happened? You know, they heard about it somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe they called the hotline too, secretly. Right?
Yeah. Gonzo, sorry, Obi.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what DDT stands for, but it's a standard move that police officers know how to employ when people are being non-compliant. That's also what most people will associate with a DDT. But not knocking your knowledge of chemicals to treat plants and kill us as we eat them. So not knocking that. So actually, I'm kind of shocked that Gonzo would know something like that. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I kid. See, we kid on this show. We don't try to smash people's souls. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and move on to the next topic unless you got anything else to add, anybody?
I just thought DDT stood for Dick in the Dirt because the move was so hard to knock your dick in the dirt. Right?
Oh man, that's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm proud.
Thank you. I'm proud. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. This one is brought up by Pook. Barcades, they did kind of bring arcade games back, but then COVID happened and kind of killed it. So do you think they will thrive again? I think they will always have a place, but it's just that the sphere is slowly starting to shrink, and not only the sphere is shrinking, it's also starting to break up. You don't have like a sphere of influence anymore. It's kind of like little pockets of influence around a actual sphere. So it's really sad because all of us here we remember going to like a pizza place or just anywhere anywhere where a arcade game could be. Hell, we used to have them in grocery stores. It's like no damn,
Laundromats.
yeah, laundromat, all that stuff, and that was part of the culture. Like Ray was talking about on the last way back, that was part of the culture. Like you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go to a pool hall, a grocery store, anywhere you could go buy anything. There was damn near a arcade game there, and now they're so few and far between. And it's a real shame because we've said on the show before, gaming brings people together. Just like they always say, music brings people together. Gaming brings people together too, and it's just a shame. So, Obi, I'll kick this off to you first. Do you think that barcades will actually fade out of existence, or do they have a chance of making a small comeback?
I think it depends where you live. Because where I lived, I mean, the arcade near me is closed down long time ago. So I wouldn't even able to tell you where I'd have to go. Maybe place in a dark alley somewhere. Um, but no, I think it is a shame that it did shut down. But I mean, I think we discussed this maybe was it last week? Did we discuss Arcade One Up last week? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Did we?
yeah, we did, and so this is kind of almost like a rehash, but kind of in a different aspect because the barcades wasn't part of it because barcades really didn't exist back then. They were just everywhere. But now, like the Dave and Buster's, that's basically what you call a barcade now, and
Well,
even those are few and far in between because like when they first started, they were really expensive. Like you had that was tax check time to go eat there but but now they've had to like lower their prices, but now since the inflation is like we're just all screwed once again. I really don't think the barcades have a chance to make a comeback, and I hope to God I'm wrong because nothing nothing was cooler than just going around town and just being able to just stop at a random place and say, oh, what new video game they get. Oh, okay, they got the same shit, move on. And then like you would be like the first person in the neighborhood is like, oh man, they got such and such over here, and then everybody would just rob their mom and dad's fucking couches, to grab quarters and shit, and rob their ashtrays and all that, trying to find some change to go down there
I,
and play the newest video game.
I think Arcade One Up do barcades too. It's not. It's not the whole. It's not the whole unit. Basically, it's like the top half of it, right? So it's not. It's not. Doesn't take up much space.
That's a countertop.
Oh, is that a countertop?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
I got my lingo mixed. That's twice now. I need to be fired from the show.
Oh shit. Yeah. Ariel says, yeah, love Dave and Buster. Now, hell yeah. I mean, definitely don't go there for the food most of the time. You go there for the damn games. Well,
Well, of
for
course,
me
New
at
York
least.
has arcades. I mean, come on, we're talking about New York, one of the most famous cities in the world, right? So,
Right, right. Um,
just that's
uh,
a comment from chat.
Yeah, now, Riv, what about you? Because you are from New York. You spent a lot of time there before you moved down south. So, like, what was it? What was the atmosphere or whatever when the barcades came along, or were you already down south when that
No,
happened?
I was already down south when that happened.
Oh, okay,
But the
You
thing
okay.
got
is,
the
we have a
fuck out
couple
of
of
there.
them. Yeah, I don't want to get shot just for the crime of being ugly in New York, which is, I mean, that place has such a high crime rate, it's ridiculous. I think you're safer in Afghanistan than you are in New York City.
Damn,
Damn. Thanks, Eric Adams. Good Lord, I didn't think there was somebody who could be worse than de Blasio, man. Anyway, so down here in Atlanta, I mean, we've had Dave and Buster's for like the longest time, but I've always found them a little bit overrated because like most of the games they have there are like not really the type of stuff that I would play in the arcade. They barely ever have any good fighters. They barely ever have any good action games. It's like it feels like I hate to say this, it feels like what a milquetoast white person who doesn't play video games thinks that people play. That's the problem. Like one of those suburban like moms that says that when she orders Mexican food says gracias instead of gracias and thinks that she's like really edgy and hip and cool. That's how Dave and Buster's comes off. Now there's another spot down here in Sandy Springs which I used to like going there, but it's sort of changed. Battle and Brew, which is really cool because they have a lot of arcade machines. They also have it where you could like get a table and then you can play like any console games you want. They have tabletop games, like all the tabletop, like Dungeons and Dragons type, tabletop gaming as well. Really nice place. But with the inflation, with the COVID hitting, now their food used to be pretty cheap. Now it's getting more expensive. So that's one problem. The second problem, and this is a problem that we've talked about, like when you mentioned at the beginning of the show, you briefly mentioned wokeness, is the wokeness disease is affecting these businesses to the point they think that they can come off super woke and not realize it alienates customers. So I stopped going there because they celebrated the fact that Joe Biden won Georgia. And it's not really because I'm trying to be political about it. I don't give a shit what your political opinion is. But the minute you start pushing it out there, that's when I'm like, yo, I'm done. And, I'm done because now y'all had to raise your fucking prices to a ridiculous level because of inflation caused by that motherfucker. So, you played yourself. Congratulations. But
Right.
you know, I mean, I don't think these bars are going to be long for the world, just because of the fact that even normal bars are suffering right now because of the fact that people are staying home. They're not spending that much money. I mean, you could go over there and for what you buy 2 beers for, you could buy a fucking 12-pack, you know, at home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that's sort of a problem. I don't think they're long for this world. There's a lot of maintenance, a lot of upkeep involved with keeping the machines in pristine condition. There's a lot of maintenance and upkeep with keeping the PCs and computers and gaming consoles. And eventually that's going to catch up to them. I don't think it's a sustainable model unless whoever's bankrolling it already has a lot of money, because you're probably operating on a loss, in all honesty.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So, Poog, what's your take on this? Do you feel the same way as Riv, or?
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way. I mean, when I think of a barcade, I didn't really think of Dave and Buster's, even though that is. I mean, but that's kind of like Riv was saying. That's kind of your Walmart version of
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I'm thinking of the ones. There's a lot of indie ones. I mean, out there that people do where they have old arcade games, even from the '70s on up, and serve alcohol and have food, and you got to be 21 or older to enter. And I think they have non-alcoholic earlier times where younger people can come in and play the arcade games on a lot of those. But I thought it was a great idea. It also raised awareness on a lot of arcade games, and it also increased the value of these arcade machines because now people are trying to buy them for home, which started the whole one-up thing. And and all this stuff. I mean, arcade games, you used to be able to go get them for $50. It didn't matter what it was for the most part. 50 to $100 you could have, you could go get an arcade machine. But now, I mean, that same $50 arcade machine is like $700 or $800, or if not more. So
Right.
But yeah, with the whole COVID and monkeypox and anything else they come up with now, I think it's gonna be a dying market. I hate to see that because I mean, I thought I like that. I like the whole barcade night scene kind of thing. Not that I ever got to enjoy it, but I thought it was cool. It's something I would do, but we never really had one in my town and stuff. So, but
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff you can play at home now. I mean, they got the mini consoles. That was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Retro
That's not
Pie
really-
as well. You can do that on.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
I think the point of the barcade was more for people to get out and socialize.
Right.
It wasn't so much for playing the games because you can play those games anywhere. You can emulate them on a PC or whatever easily.
Exactly.
It's the point of socializing and enjoying it because it is an art. To me, it's an art form. I mean, seeing the original cabinets with the art on it and the bezels and all that stuff, and it's just something that I always thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Yes, just part of the culture. Here on the Wayback Throwback and also Fat Ninja Game Talk Radio, we do like to educate people. So, Riv, I'm going to shoot this comment over to you. Gonzo, I don't know if he's part of woke culture or whatever, but if inflation has to do with Biden, then how come it's everywhere in the world? I think he needs to be educated on how it's not just inflation caused by one person; it's a worldwide thing. So, Riv, go ahead and take it, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a worldwide thing, that we're seeing, and it's because of a lot of supply issues and situations with COVID. But you have to be short-sighted to not think Biden has something to do with it when he takes $40 billion of U.S. money and hands it to Ukraine and then says, "Oh, it's okay, we can just keep printing more of it." You see what I'm saying? We between Biden and even previously with Trump, we've printed more money than in the entire history of the United States prior to those two. So that being said, so Trump has a hand in it as well. But here's the difference. At least Trump, despite as crazy as he is, his brain still works. Biden has the brain of a baked potato and has no idea what, like that video that we saw where they put him in Skyrim and someone's like, "You Draugr looking motherfucker, you piece of shit." Like he does. He looks like a fucking Draugr at this point. I mean, he has to sniff small children to drain like 5 years out of their life to keep them alive. Like something out of like a freaking he's like the grandpa in Leatherface. Blood keeps grandpa alive, and they're putting the blood down the mouth of the fucking corpse. That's what we have right now. So, you know, when you got somebody like that that's in charge, and not to mention the millions upon millions of dollars of American infrastructure he left in Afghanistan, including a whole lot of Americans, by the way. But, you know, I mean, that's sort of where we're at. You know, I mean, it's reckless spending. It's bad spending that causes inflation. Yeah, inflation is going on in the rest of the world, but where we in America are getting hit with it a lot more than the other countries at a much faster rate. Because I don't know, you know, where you are in the world, Gonzo, but I'm paying double for groceries. I mean, I'm buying $15 worth of shit for $45. I'm pretty pissed off about that. You know, because it's going up faster than the money I'm making is going up. You know, we're still $3, you know, ahead on gas, which started going up as soon as the man hit office. You know, so that's not Putin's price hike or a Russia or Ukraine thing. It started going up the minute that man took office. You know, there are no conspiracies, but there are no coincidences. That shit is by design. I don't appreciate, you know, what he's doing, because it does make it harder, because when we have to spend more to live day to day, like Pook was talking about, that's less money that we can spend to go to these barcades or hang out or have a good time, because we can't justify it as much, because we have to hold on to money just to break even, just to make do, just to pay that bill. So, you know, I mean, obviously I'm pretty ticked off about that, because, you know, I like being out there. I like being social, but, you know, on the same token, I'm not trying to spend any money I ain't got to spend.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yep. Yeah. Go in the chat. You know, shout out to everybody in the chat that's actually having decent, constructive conversations. Riv, right now, sir, I have a bone to pick with you. Like we've been knowing each other for a long time, right? And you've never really hurt anybody. Like you've buried some people. You know, you've hurt some feelings, but you never done like no physical damage to nobody.
Yeah.
Sir, I think you gave Mountain Timer brain damage, because like he's being buried by Ariel in the chat, and that's how come I'm not putting the comments up here, because I mean it's just total weak sauce. I don't even want to bug Riv with stuff like that.
Oh, shit.
Mountain Timer, when you get buried by Ariel, it's definitely time to hang it up, bro.
I mean, he's broken. He's broken.
And I mean, I'm not saying anything bad, Mountain Timer. I love you. You cool. But damn,
Yeah, Mountain
dude.
Timer's cool. I like Mountain Timer.
But damn, dude. Oh, I love you, bro. That's all I can say. I love you. Yeah, but
I'm gonna have to rewatch this and look on YouTube to see the chat, because I can't see it in the program here. But
oh well, just go ahead and pull it up. Pull up in another tab. And
no, I'll wait.
I have it popped out. That's what I do. I just pop out the chat. So.
Yeah, Ariel. Whew. Damn, Ariel. She's dangerous. Yeah, she's dangerous. Watch out. People in the chat, you know, if you got links to drop, please drop them in there so everybody can know where you at. You know, Blaze, I fuck with him and his crew. Awesome dudes. They sit around. You know, they're part of the new school too. They're like, you know, y'all can't tell us what to do. So they play all kind of music. They get their shit taken down. They bring it back up. They don't give a fuck. And you know, that's why I like them. That's why I fucks with them. You know, plus they smoke some hella weed too. So hey.
Yeah.
So yeah. Blaze, drop your link. Ariel, drop your link for your dono stream later on. Please, you know, connect to these people. Like I said, I fucks with them, and I ain't gonna never steer nobody wrong. I mean, opinions may differ, but I'm talking about just good, wholesome people. That's all I really care about. So, Mountain Timer, anything to try to weasel out of him being buried. Hold on, I gotta bring this one up. This one is rich. Also, I'm not being buried. I'm being blocked by Ariel, so I can't chat. Don't confuse that. There's nothing to confuse. Even though you were making comments, you're still being buried, so that doesn't really matter. So you're spinning your wheels, bro. Don't do that. I mean, even Riv's dogs agree. It's like, oh, bro, No good, sir. No good, bro.
He said
Dog
his
shit.
dogs agree.
Dog shit. Dog shit.
He said his dogs agree. What the fuck?
I mean, I'm just fucking around, man. Like I said, I love mountain timers, so please don't get mad at me. I mean, I really don't care if you do, but I'm just saying, just don't get mad. I'm
Shout out to
your
Mountain
dog,
Timer. I like Mountain
Yeah,
Timer.
yeah,
He's a good
man.
dude.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
good
man.
dude. He's a good
Yeah,
dude.
man. Okay, so anybody else want to comment on that before we go ahead and go to commercial? I actually got a little commercial. I mean, I didn't make it, but yeah. Nobody? Okay,
No,
cool.
I'm cool, man.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna play a YouTube video that's from Evie Mux. It gives a brief overview of how the software is used briefly. So it's about a minute and 15 seconds. So if you want to get up, go take a piss, or get some snacks or whatever real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that, and so yeah, when we come back, we will go into probably Riv's rant. So I'm going to play a promo. We'll be back shortly. So you've been listening and watching Fat Ninja Game Talk Radio.
All right, I'm live. That was
Okay, and we are back. Thank you everybody for hanging out through that little intermission. People in the chat, if you got anything that you want us to talk about here on the show while you got us crazy old grognards here, please feel free. Go ahead and throw them in the chat, and we will try to get to them. So of course, this is what you all came to see. This is what I love doing this show for. I love to hear Riv go off on a tangent about something. So we're going to go ahead and hand it over to Riv. Here he is, Riv's rants.
Rant and rave about because it really pisses me off. Now, I don't know if y'all are along the same lines of me when you have a problem, like let's say with your computer or some sort of other electronic device in your house, that you'd rather just fix it your damn self. I've done that for years and years and years. And then somehow we came into this really annoying ass, stupid era we live in 2022. As you can see, my shirt's a Radio Shack t-shirt. Those went out of business. We don't have them anymore. They were on every freaking corner in the fucking 80s. And the best thing about it was that if I had a problem with a computer, with any sort of electronic device, I could get what I needed to fix it immediately, same day, do that shit in a day. But no, we don't have that anymore. We got to go through Amazon. It'll take 3 to 4 days to deliver your order, or sometimes 6 to 10 days, depending on if it comes straight from fucking China. Well, fuck China too, man. Here's the thing. I like putting shit together, but I like handling my problems the same day. I don't like waiting 6 days to do something. I don't like waiting 3 days to do something. When I go to a store, like a Best Buy, like a Target, like any of these stores that exist, I want to get what I came to get on the same day. I want to get in, I want to get out, get what I get. I do not want to see some big ass more stock online freaking sign blasted in my damn face. Then what's the point of me coming here? I came here because I expected to get what I want, get what I need, and do what I gotta do. And that's how we used to do shit in the 80s and 90s. There was no waiting period. There was no self-checkout. What, you're making me do what's supposed to be your job? Get the fuck out. And that's what bothers me about it. It's because of the fact that people As Pook just said, the barcade was because of the social aspect. Well, so was everything else, including going to a damn store and being able to talk to people, going to a Blockbuster Video and being able to talk to people instead of this Netflix on-demand garbage. All right? And somehow we lost that. We lost that with everything else because people, I have social anxiety. I'm afraid of people. I don't want to have to talk to anybody. Give me the self-check. Get the fuck out of here. Throw some fucking balls, all right? That's what we need back. We need back the ability to go to a store, do what you got to do. Whatever happened to service with a smile instead of service with a fucking... I don't want to talk to fucking Hal from and all this shit when I come in here, talking to a damn machine. Come on, get the self-checkout. Bullshit, man. I don't know what happened, but I think the biggest wrong turn we made was turning our stores into automations instead of an actual experience where you go outside and have to deal with actual human beings and get what you need to get done within the same damn day. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Once again, thank you, Rib. And once again, that's why I fucks with Rib.
Please, Pook. Rib's being mean to me. Get him, please. I had to rag Mountain Timer for that one because that one last week was really bad.
Yeah, Denise, you are so right. See, hey, we.
Denise.
Yeah, and Ariel says the Rib is a badass. Damn right.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Like I said, what y'all see is Rib being calm. This is
me when I'm sick.
Right, right. He got a possible case of the vid heebie-jeebies, and he still come on here with spit, fire, and vinegar. So, yeah.
Well, dude, if it's COVID, even Xi Jinping better get up and get on the phone and apologize. I'll rag his Winnie the Pooh looking ass too.
Shit. Everybody can get it. All right, so let's go ahead to move to our next topic. Okay, this is one of our viewers, Black Ghost. He recovering from COVID. Thank God, he's making a good recovery, slow but a good recovery. He said, "Look at Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo console wars from the early 2000s, and how the dying off one-off consoles of the 90s pushed people to those three options." I never really looked at it like that because I believe Granny said in the comments either on the Monday show or last week because the Virtual Boy was horrible. So therefore, even if you did want to get away from it, you got pushed right back to it because the Virtual Boy wanted to make your fucking head explode.
Man, that brings back bad memories of Virtual Boy. That brings back memories of everything turning red.
We picked up the Virtual Boy eventually when it got clearanced. I remember Target had them clearance for like $25 or something, and we picked one up. And
my room just went to Virtual Boy colors.
There you go.
It was like
right.
It was like Kane's entrance, only it would set your brain on fire after about an hour.
So yeah, let's go ahead and crack this one open. Obi, I'll go ahead and kick it to you first, man. What do you thought about the layout back in the day and how these crappy consoles, these one-offs, like Black Ghost said, kind of pushed us back to the normal big three? Like, what do you think?
Oh man, I hadn't much experience with it, but I believe Sega had a VR. Was it a VR Pook? I can't remember. What was the Sega one? I know that was something they had like a one-off. It didn't go anywhere. What was that called? Did Pook leave?
Yeah, they had a one-off. I mean, they had what?
I know they had a VR thing. I'm sure it was a VR
system. I mean, the only thing they had was like that activator thing that hooked up to the Genesis where it did motion, but it wasn't really VR.
I think that was it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. I think that's the one I'm thinking. But yeah, that's the only one I've had experience with, and that was pretty terrible. I'm trying to think of other one-offs. I can't think of any right now. I obviously wasn't prepared. That's
Well,
the third time.
well, no, like even though there were some one-offs, but I mean you can still put into to the other ones like the 32X. That
Yes. Yeah.
that had a very brief. I mean they had a chance. They really had a chance, but
I
man they
I blame
stepped
Marky
on.
Mark and the Funky Bunch for killing the 32X.
I
Like a
knew someone was
Sega
going to catch that one. I knew it. I knew it.
yeah.
Like I said, they had a chance. Now if maybe Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch may have, maybe somebody would have locked them in their tour bus so they couldn't make it to the shoot of the game. Maybe the 32X may have been still around today, but hey, we don't
Microsoft
know.
Connect is another one. Just thought of it. Microsoft
It-
Connect.
yeah, that's another one that had
Yes.
great. I mean that demo that had what was the name of the demo? It-
Milo.
Milo. Yes, I was so hyped for that, and then it's
Mm,
like,
it
what
looked good.
what is this garbage? Like,
Was that
no.
was that if that was the Fable guy pimping it, Peter Molyneux,
Yeah,
then it was
yeah.
Vaporware for sure because that guy
Oh
is
my
full of shit. I
goodness.
think we've raved about and ranted about that guy for in previous shows, but yeah.
Yeah.
To me, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. PlayStation VR. Uh, it, it seemed more like a fad. No, I didn't get it. For me, it didn't catch on personally.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
agree. Hell, Peter Molyneux is the only human that I would consider vaporware because he was so full, so full of hot air and shit. Oh my goodness.
but
Yeah.
I've got to save myself in the end.
Okay. Riv, I'll shoot it to you. What do you think, man?
Well, I think it's always been a two system war, and everybody else has always been an afterthought or a spectator. This really was a Nintendo versus Sega war, at least when we started. Prior to that, you had the Atari, but everything was Atari. Then you had Nintendo versus Sega, and that was the way it was for the longest time. Now we have Sony versus Microsoft, and Nintendo is the weird third party, which is sort of interesting how that sort of shifted. Which Nintendo is never in any danger. They're a niche that's never going to fade out because people love Nintendo no matter what. The Switch arguably is actually more successful than the other two systems right now. But there were so many quirky systems that people thought might succeed, and I can think of. I mean, this all started with TurboGrafx 16 trying to come in as a third party to that Nintendo Sega war with NEC. And then they came out with Turbo Duo, which was supposed to be their 32-bit system to come up against the 32-bit war. Didn't really do quite as well as you expected. You had the Neo Geo, which was a niche from SNK, and that's still a niche to this day because that's how expensive that shit was. That shit was $800. Like that was the cost of like several Nintendo and Sega systems. You could buy everything else that was out for the price of Neo Geo was asking for.
Yes.
But I think where it really got sort of interesting was the 32-bit era because we had so many of them pop out of the woodwork. First of all, you had the Philips CDI, which gave rise to, if you remember, the PlayStation. Now, a lot of people don't remember this. The NES, Philips CDI was supposed to be an extension to a new Nintendo system. Nintendo opted to ditch them to go with Sony to make something. And Sony was like, you know what? We really don't need y'all. We'll make it ourselves. And that's how the PlayStation came to be.
Right. Yeah.
But
Going to the chat real quick. Ariel, be nice. He hasn't said anything bad, so be nice. Jason Saunders, yeah, dude, that was the cool. Like, okay, like when we were kids, and Pook can attest to this because me and him we did it a lot of times. It was especially during the weekend. It's like, okay, you staying over here or you staying over at my house. So we would go ahead and hash that out, and it was like, okay, how many pizzas are we going to eat? How many bags of licorice were we going to eat? And how much Mountain Dew were we going to drink? So like once we got all that figured out, I was like, okay, we finna hit up the video stores. It was like a ritual, like um, going to Blockbuster and like Jason said, just looking and grabbing the disc or the cartridge or whatever, whatever area you're talking about. It's like that's what it was about, man. It's like, oh man, 'cause like especially one of the popular games, and you kept going back time and time again, and it's like, man, it's not in, man, it's not in. Like, oh shit, man, it hasn't been back in for 2 weeks. It's like, well, fuck, that game is gone, and so you had to go all over town trying to find that one particular game, and then you finally get it. Like you thought you won the fucking lottery.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you
you
could
know
go
what
through
that
so much
was? It was
shit.
because people like me were renting out the same game over and over again. I remember like renting Ogre Battle out like 5 times in a row, and I'd won a Blockbuster video game tournament that allowed me like 2 free rentals a month on top of that. So I keep renting out like certain RPGs until I finished them because I couldn't find a copy to purchase. But yeah, I think what really sort of led us back to this era we're in now, of it being that the big three, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, is that 32-bit era where everybody came out of the woodworks. You had 3DO, you had Atari Jaguar, you had Atari Lynx, you had CDI, you had all these other little bootleg systems that were coming out. People talking about coming out with systems. I think like Coleco was talking about making a comeback and all sorts of. I mean, it was like so like overbearing, over the top, and people just don't take that. I think that there's a market. Fuck Virtual Bar. Oh shit, I co-sign that one. I think what it is there's a certain point where people say they don't want the market diluted because they don't want to have to buy every system. They want to have to buy 6 copies of this and that on every system and whatnot. If you remember, like even recently, Amazon and Google tried to get involved and dilute the market with Google Stadia or the Amazon Luna. Netflix talking about getting into some sort of weird game streaming. And people just said, no, there's no place for you. We're fine with the 3 we got. And I think that's because of the fact, I think that's about the limit for any reasonable person is 3 different consoles. Anything beyond that, these guys can go fuck themselves. So I think that's really what happened. I think the consumers, the market sort of told them, nah, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to what Mountain Timer said. This is another thing that was, once again, it's game culture. Me and Pook, man, me and Pook, we should be in jail for some of the shit that we did back in the day. We both had modded systems, and like if I had a game he didn't have, we would compare game lists. Like, yo, what you got on yours? Like da 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 da, and he'd make a copy. Then I'd get it and I put it on my system. And if I happen to come across something, I burn it to a disk. You know what I'm saying? And once again, it was part of the culture, and it's gone now because you can't, like what Jason was saying earlier, you can't go to a Blockbuster, you can't go to what me and Pook know, Top Flight Video, and go get those games and just like, I don't know, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my virtual library of this endless amount of games. Half of them I've never even played before, they're never installed, but I got them. But nothing beats being able to go to a store or just somewhere and grab these video games and look at them and then have stories to tell because maybe you were at this flea market and maybe you met a new friend or a contact or you got some kind of memory. You don't have a memory of, oh, there's a game on Steam, download it and play it. That's all you got. So yeah, hell yeah, definitely. Man, let me see. Netflix was good for that back in the day too. Yeah, like when Netflix first started up, you had that, that the list I used to see, and then what was the, because didn't Netflix used to do games too at first, or was that
I
another
remember
company?
using GameFly.
GameFly, that's what it was. Yes,
GameFly. We
GameFly.
used to rent games from GameFly that everybody wanted, and then we'd make copies and then send the damn thing back.
Oh man,
you guys had the red box too, if you remember. I don't know if it's still
Yeah.
around, to be honest.
Yeah. So let me see. Obi, what do you think? Was that the same type of culture for you over there, or was it kind of slightly different over the pond?
Oh no, it was the same. I mean, if you had a modded system, yeah, you'd borrow a game off a friend or rent. Because we had rentals. We had Blockbuster here too, believe it or not. Yeah, so and we had the different rental places by mail or the
Nice.
stores. So yeah, we had the same thing going. We had the same scheme going.
Same scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to people in the chat. We got nine on YouTube, one that Captain America on Twitch.
Man,
Love you, Cap.
or woman.
Yeah. Mr. or Mrs. America. Don't want a shield to come through and bust us in the head or anything. So thank you, Cap, wherever you are. We appreciate you. So yeah, anybody in the chat, if you got something that you want us to talk about, we are at the hour mark. But if you want us to talk about something from the past or whatever, or maybe a question that you got for us about gaming or wrestling or whatever, we'll go ahead and try to answer it real quick. Um, Isa28, thank you for coming out and supporting the stream. Thank you very much. Oh, if I could hug you, I would, because you are so supportive. I mean, ever since I came to Isa's channel, she has been a staunch supporter. She gets up early to come out and support the show, even though it's, butt crack of dawn over there right now. She still gets up early to come out and support the show. So thank you, Isa. Thank you very, very much.
That's awesome.
Gonzo, he says, I'm slightly offended that I can't see all the cock blocking going on here. Gonzo, shut up. Gonzo, a damn fool. Brandon Graham, he says, what systems do you currently own? I'll start first. I have a very short list. A modded original Xbox, that's about it. And my PC. What about you, Riv?
I've got the Switch. I've got the PS4. I've got an Xbox 360 that surprisingly still works. I don't have it hooked up right now. And then, of course, but I'm part of the PC master race because I've got a strong enough computer to run almost anything that a PS4 can. So, I mean, that helps out a lot because if you know where to go, you can acquire what you need to acquire. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but hey, money's tight and people are broke. Bitches is broke, so I got to do what I got to do, So the PC
absolutely.
really helps out. And I mean, there's a lot of emulation. There's a lot of shit that you can't get on a console anyway that you can only emulate because of fan translations and whatnot. So it's definitely worth having a PC that can do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Isa from chat said, need to wake up early. Yes, that's how come I really thank you very much for doing that, because you don't have to do that. So I am very honored, and I'm just overwhelmed. I'm really just thank you very much. Obi, I'll go ahead and shoot it over to you. What current systems do you own right now?
Oh, this gen, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. That's this gen, but I've got all my old stuff too. I'm not going to go into it because of the time that we've got. Maybe we can go into it next time, but yeah. And I've got a serious problem. So
I got a serious problem.
He's gonna come out with a long list like Chris Jericho with 1,004 holds.
Right.
Number 4, Armbar.
And Pook, what about you, sir? This is how come I saved him for last.
It'd probably be easier to say what consoles I don't have. I pretty much have everything from Atari 2600 on up. I'm only missing a few consoles. I have Japanese import consoles, and I have everything new for like PS5, Xbox Series X, everything down to Japanese PC Engine, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, NES. I'm not going to name them all because we're already past the hour mark, but I pretty much have everything from Atari on.
He's got a problem too.
Plug and play. I do have a problem. I mean, I'm a hoarder.
Yeah. Brandon he says he's got a PS3, PS4, Vita, Switch. Hopefully you didn't get that Vita from A.H. Walker. Xbox Series S out of spite. And Jason Saunders, he is always coming up with these nice, interesting things to talk about. It's interesting times now for video games that we have the new stuff. It's also nice that companies are making games that are true to 8-bit and 16-bit roots.
Yeah,
it's just nice to see. Absolutely agree, sir.
Yeah.
No truer words have been
probably the comment
said.
of the night, that one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? And Gonzo says, this seems like a longer show than normal. Very nice. Well, thank you, Gonzo. I know I try my best to keep this to an hour, but sometimes if we have great conversations, it's definitely good to be able to keep the conversation going and talk some more nerdiness. So yeah. and Gonzo. guys are retarded. Looks like Pook booked a trip to Australia.
Good day, mate. Hey,
Oh,
good day,
mate.
mate.
Good
I'm
night,
actually
mate.
from New Zealand. I ain't gonna go to bed a bloody bushwhacker, mate.
Oh shit.
You retarded. You retarded. Okay. Ariel says he looks like Cuban Pete. What the fuck?
Who's Cuban Pete?
I have no idea.
My name is Cuban Pete. I got some smelly feet. Boom shaka boom, boom shaka boom, boom shaka boom.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and end the madness before it gets too out of control. Well, it's already been out of control. Shout out to the 9 people on YouTube and Captain America, wherever you are on Twitch. Definitely appreciate you for chilling out over there on Twitch. And shout out to the people in the chat. We had some very unique conversations. Also had some very good comments, and it's just really a joy to have intelligent people come over here and talk about just talk about nerdiness. Join us for our random ravings and stuff like that. So it's just cool. Thank you, Dan. Dan's gonna go ahead and buzz on out of here. Thank you, bro, for coming out supporting the stream. Definitely appreciate it. Once again, check out Blaze's show down in the show notes. Like I said, some cool ass guys. You will not be disappointed. And Ariel's stream for tonight. Yes, she has put it in the chat. Please go out and support her. If you can just, give a couple of bucks, it would help. And we end up at 10 people on YouTube, and the feed did not go out this time. So awesome. And Ariel says, good show, guys. Thank you very much. We definitely appreciate it. And so yeah, we're going to go ahead and get out of here because I'm fat and I need to get something to eat. And so thanks everybody for coming out, supporting us, hanging out, talking some shit, talking about the yesteryears, because us old farts, we need to relive some nostalgia so we don't crumple up and die of loneliness or whatever.
The old days were better.
All right, so no fancy outro this time. So hey, I've been Fat Ninja, and when you least expected it, I just stole your sandwich. Later, folks.